Arkansas, all sports. It's more sports.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm Wes Moore. Glad you're with us. Looks like AWS still having some issues, but we're here and we're live and we're going to have a good show tonight. Welcome into More Sports. Tonight we have our high school football player of the week, a wide receiver from Searcy that put on a show last week against Pine Bluff, 10 catches, over 200 yards, 4 touchdowns. We'll meet Will Manning later in the show. And, of course, we're going to talk about the Razorbacks, Arkansas, Auburn, Saturday morning at 11:45. Two desperate teams, two teams needing to get their first SEC win. Let's bring in Braylon Mitchell, our former Razorback. What's up, Braylon? How are you?
Man, I am doing good. AWS, please bear with us and help us get through this show. But I'm doing good, man. Thanks for having me on as always.
All right, before we get to Auburn, let's talk about A&M a little bit. I was there. I love the effort. The energy in the stadium was awesome. The sideline, the players were buying in. They were excited. Man, it's just the defense can't get a stop. 2 stops. That's all they had all game. And one field goal, just way too many touchdowns. What are your thoughts on the A&M game?
My thoughts on it, I'll start on a positive note because there's plenty of things negative that you can find out, you know. But first and foremost, I think it was a great first home showing for Petrino coming out, you know, being the head guy. I think the fans showed up and they showed out. I saw a couple of fans leaving the game once they thought things weren't, you know, going to be going our way. But for the most part, fans stuck around. And we gave them something to watch and be proud of, right? So, you know, I saw guys actually looking like they're encouraged. They had some optimism about themselves. They were actually competing offensively. Defensively, it's just the same story, just a different week. You know, we gave up 500 total yards of offense. Yeah, those stops. We gave up 3 4th and 1s or 4th and 2, 4th and shorts. You're not going to win a lot of ball games that way. And until we get that corrected, man, we're going to have the same old story week in and week out.
Yeah, I don't know what they can do, honestly, Braylon, because it boils down to me, it's defensive line issues and the lack of depth there. That really showed up against A&M. They tried something different. I'll give them credit for that. They ran with 3 defensive linemen a lot in the game, either a 3-3-5 look or 3 defensive linemen, 2 linebackers, and 6 defensive backs. But I think A&M saw that and was like, well, if you're going to put in all the DBs, we're going to run the ball on you.
We're going to run the ball, and you have to. That's why they're at the time they were the number 4 team in the nation, number 3 team in the nation this week. You have to give those guys credit, those coaches credit, because Arkansas threw something new out there, but they still found a way to take advantage of it in their favor. At the end of the day, no matter what defense you run, 4-4, 4-3, nickel package, dime package, until your guys have the grit to want to make tackles and actually make receivers pay for trying to catch the ball across the middle, you're going to get exposed. You know, when you're giving 5 and 6 yards to carry to your running backs, heck, we're going to run it all day long. We're going to run it down your throat all day long. And so it's embarrassing. I told a good friend of mine, I said, man, we need to replace all 11 guys on the defense. You know, it's a shame that college football isn't adapted to what the NFL has, because you can cut a guy mid-season. Here we stuck with them all season. So,
you know, I look at the tackles for a loss. That kind of tells you who wins the line of scrimmage. And A&M had a bunch of tackles for a loss. I think 4 sacks. Arkansas had, I think, 2 tackles for a loss and no sacks. And A&M controlled the line of scrimmage on both sides. Now, the offensive line for Arkansas, I thought, did a good job, but the defensive line, it's just not a whole lot there.
Yeah, anytime a quarterback can sit in the pocket and just pick you apart, the first thing you got to look at is the defensive line. I mean, not only did we not have any sacks, we didn't have any interceptions. I mean, I can't remember the last time we had a takeaway. And
you want me to remind you? It may make you mad.
Was it Memphis?
It was Memphis when Neal went up over that wide receiver from Memphis and took the ball away from him. That's the last turnover Arkansas has created.
And that's ridiculous. I mean, we have guys, 4- and 5-star guys, guys that were highly sought after in the transfer portal, and we can't get a takeaway. That's just ridiculous, man. But to your point, man, you could definitely tell who won the line of scrimmage, and that was, Texas A&M's defense against our offense, and their offense against our defense, they just made us look terrible, man.
You know, a lot of times when they were running the 3 defensive linemen, they would bring Xavier Sori in on the outside as not really even blitz, but just the 4th guy that was coming. So they're trying different things, but they're just not able to get to the quarterback, put any pressure on the quarterback. To me, that's how you create turnovers. You put pressure on the quarterback and make him make some bad decisions. And right now, quarterbacks are just sitting back there and looking around and making good throws. They're not under pressure.
And Wes, I think the most important thing to remember is the only thing that has changed is we have a new head ball coach, right? Or interim head ball coach, but we still have the same players, okay? The guys, we weren't getting very much pressure on guys under Pittman's watch. And so it's kind of unrealistic to expect that change overnight as Petrino has taken over the last couple of weeks. At the end of the day, it's a personnel issue.
Offensively, isn't it crazy how they can be on one end of the spectrum on defense, but on the other end of the spectrum on offense? Because this offense, A&M's got a good defense. I was there. They had some dudes on the defensive line. Linebackers are safe. They were fast, big, very impressive. I've said all last week, A&M's the best team they're going to play. And after seeing them in person, I agree that is a good football team. Arkansas moved up and down the field and scored 40-something points on a good team. This offense is fun to watch, and it keeps you in a game. Just got to get a little help. And then, you know, it's magnified when the offense has to settle for a field goal on 4th and 4, you know, inside the 5-yard line twice. They punted twice. You just can't settle. You've got to almost score every possession, a touchdown.
You do, man. And I think if hopefully he gets a chance to see this clip, I think we need to try and get the ball first every game the rest of the season. Why do you say that, Braylon? Because we can score against anybody. We can put points on the board, but a lot of times we're playing catch up because defense can't get stops. If we can get the ball first and get 7 points on the board first, we're going to win pretty much every ball game because our offense is just that good.
They had to settle for a field goal in that first drive. They drove it down there. Remember, Washington had 2 big runs. He got caught from behind, and then he got tackled on the 4, I believe it was, and then 2 incomplete or a run up the middle and 2 incomplete passes. They're kicking a field goal. And so then the defense gives up a touchdown, and from then on, you're playing from behind.
You're playing from behind. And see, Mike Washington, I just want to make sure I give him his flowers, man. That guy has impressed me all season long. You know, I was down on him when he made that game costing fumble a couple weeks back. But, man, ever since then, that dude has run like a freight train. And the way he as shifty as he is, and, I mean, that dude, we just need to feed him the pill. Like, Taylor Green, get us in the red zone, we're going to hand it off to him every single time.
All right, let's move ahead to Auburn in this week. Auburn, like Arkansas, has had 4 close losses to 4 really good teams. I think they were all ranked. A&M, Georgia, Missouri, and it's slipping my mind who the 4th. Oklahoma. Yeah, so they've had 4. You know, they kind of got robbed against Oklahoma. They got robbed against Georgia. They're desperate for a win also. How do you see this game playing out?
This is going to be an interesting weekend for Razorback football, and I say that because, to your point, both programs right now are in so much turmoil. I mean, Auburn is probably, you know, a week or 2 away from firing their head coach if he can't get it together. And so, what this weekend is going to be about is who can get over the hump, who can come out and impose their will first, right? And so, you're going to really and truly see what Petrino's done from a coaching standpoint, a preparation standpoint against an Auburn team that's very beatable, right? And then next week we got another beatable opponent in Mississippi State. So the way I'm looking at this is we could very well be 1-2 under Petrino's tenure as interim head ball coach if we just come out and take care of business. Offensively, they are not a very good football team, but they're going to want to come in and run the ball. And we are not a very good defensive team. So watching their offense versus our defense, it may be a sour thing to watch. I would recommend just watching our offense against their defense because their defense is pretty good as well. But ultimately, it's just going to come down to who wants it more. And if Petrino wants to be considered to be the head guy after all of this, he needs to start this weekend.
Yeah, how important is for Petrino to get a win against Auburn?
It's extremely important. I don't think, at least to this point, he's done anything to hurt himself, but I also don't think he's done anything to help himself. Because again, I mentioned earlier, we lost when Pittman was here. We're still losing, right? But we can kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel. We're competitive in ball games, and we have a chance to win there at the end pretty much every week since he's taken over. But this is a very winnable game. And then next week as well is very winnable as well. Those 2 games he's going to have to win, because winning those games keeps us in some kind of a hunt for a bowl game, right? And he's just going to have to do that. If he doesn't win these next 2 games, sadly, I don't think he's going to get that job.
Yeah. Well, take us inside the locker room. What could playing, the fantasy game here? What if the game they do beat Auburn and Mississippi State? What's that do to a locker room that finally gets a taste of victory 2 weeks in a row, and then you have a road game at LSU in Texas?
Yeah, going inside their locker room, man, it's going to be, if they can pull these next 2 wins off, it's going to be so much excitement in there. Those guys, everybody dreams of playing in the bowl game, no matter how big, how small. You want to play in the bowl game, because when you play in bowl games, you get to travel to a new city and just hang out and have a great time. But it's going to give those guys some hope and some perspective on how things can continue to go as long as they buy in. I don't think they'll have champagne in the locker room after an Auburn win, but I can just imagine it'll be that type of a celebration if and when they can pull this off.
All right, Auburn we found out this week their starting center, who's been their guy for a couple of years. He's out. This is his first game out towards ACL. It's a freshman or redshirt freshman that's going to step in. How does Arkansas take advantage of that, knowing their guy, and how important that center position is on the offensive line?
Yeah, the way you take advantage of it is you go right at them. We haven't went right at people all season long. Our defensive line, they're going to have to get off the ball. They're going to have to win at the line of scrimmage. If we can confuse him and get him, desperate to, make plays and make blocks and get him thinking a little bit, we're going to stand a good chance of winning that ball game. But the key to distracting him is just winning at the line of scrimmage and getting hands on him first.
I got to think too. You run twist games, some stunts, some blitzes, some exotic blitzes up the middle. Try to confuse him and take advantage of that inexperience.
Yeah, absolutely. I can see the defensive line or defensive staff definitely throwing in some games there so that the defensive line can kind of get some guys moving and twisting and doing some things. Because if you can get you said he's a redshirt freshman or true
freshman or redshirt freshman. He had hardly none starting experience.
Yeah, so you throw everything in the book at him. You throw everything at him, and you get him thinking and moving sideways. That way you can make plays against him.
How do you feel
about this week?
Yeah,
man, I don't feel good defensively, and I'm tired of feeling that way. But I feel good about where things are headed. I think if we can, again, get our guys to buy in this week defensively, let's stop the run, let's stop the pass, and make guys, pay for catching the ball across the middle. I'll tell you this. If we can find a guy that's a true headhunter, someone that's willing to take one for the team, get a targeting call, knock somebody out of the game, do something to change the perspective of our defense, then I feel a whole lot better. But until then, I'm kind of iffy.
I don't want to see anybody thrown out. How about just go and hit him right square in the shoulder pads with a big hit and send a message? Yeah. When's the last time you saw the defense lay a big hit?
Dude, I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it all season long. All I've seen, and I'm sure you've seen the same thing, is us going in and making tackles, and we're getting drugged 5 and 7 yards down the field.
There was almost back-to-back plays against Arkansas State. I remember at War Memorial Stadium, there were 2 big hits in a row, and I was like, well, maybe something's happening here. But since then, I don't remember anything just big hit. That just leaves you going, ooh, all right, here we go.
Well, yeah, if we can get the linebackers to play the way they played against Arkansas State, man, and just, dominate the ball game, man, our defense stands a chance, but we're only going to go as far as those 2 leaders we got over there at linebacker, and they're not doing very good themselves.
I got to think something breaks this week because Auburn doesn't give up a lot of points. They don't score a lot of points, but then you look at Arkansas, they do score a lot of points and they give up a lot of points. I just don't know which way it's going to break this week.
It's to be determined. It's to be determined. But I can assure you that Petrino's going to have those guys ready to go. And I just hope that I don't throw the remote control at the TV before halftime.
I hope the same, Braylon. Hey, man, I appreciate it. Thank you for jumping on board here tonight. It's always fun to catch up with you.
Yes, sir. Likewise. Take care, Wes.
It's Braylon Mitchell joining us on More Sports. And if you like what you're seeing in this video, be sure to, hit the thumbs up video and subscribe to More Sports. That's going to help the channel grow on YouTube. And that's what this first 6 weeks it's all been about. It's growing the channel every single week, but hit subscribe and hit that like button for me. Now we're going to talk a little high school sports. Let me introduce you our More Sports Play of the Week. It is Will Manning, a wide receiver from Searcy. He's joined by his head coach, Zach Clark. Guys, welcome into the show. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Thanks for having us.
Good. Yeah, you bet. Will, let me start with you. What a performance. I got 10 catches, 231 yards, and 4 touchdowns in a victory over Pine Bluff. What was that game like for you?
Well, it was wild getting that many or just doing that good. I had actually the past couple of weeks didn't really do much on offense, so just having a game that just exploded for me was really, really good for me and just fun. Just to have that much production and doing that good. So,
Coach, what was getting him open against Pine Bluff? Why was he able to get that many targets?
I think it's just a matchup thing, and we go into the game. Oddly enough, I've never had we've played 7 games. One receiver is leading us in receptions. A different receiver is leading us in yards, and then a different receiver is leading us in touchdowns. So I think, we're very balanced in kind of our distribution, and that makes us even more dangerous. Week before, we had a Jackson Smith caught 4 touchdowns. He had 1 target, on Friday night. So I think our receivers are, they're unselfish. They understand that they may not get the lion's share of the balls this week, but it's coming next week, and then if, we kind of share, kind of like a basketball team, we try to share and spread the ball around, and depending on the matchup and who's hot that night is where we go with the ball.
Will, is that tough as a wide receiver, not knowing this week may be my week or next week is my week? How is that?
I think you all just have to take in the fact that our team and our offense is just so explosive everywhere, and we have like dynamic players all across, and just like a true spread of where the ball can go. So I just know that if it's someone's night, one night, that I just got to be happy for them. And like Coach said, like when Jackson had the game he had versus Jacksonville, I was super pumped. And then a few weeks before, Bryson Thompson had a game, and then this past week it was me. So and even though some nights we have our nights, I know that that I'll be getting the ball even if it's not my night, or just because our offense is just so spread, and that we have so many players that you have to get the ball to. So it's good. It's good.
Will, what's the season been like for you guys? 7-0, undefeated in conference, of course. Just how you like this year? How's it going?
It's been awesome so far. I think we're actually going past our expectations of what we thought we were going to be. But being so good so far this season has been awesome, man. Just getting our wins back from teams that we've lost from, and teams that thought that just could play. We just exceeded our expectations against them, and just showing how explosive that we are, and our defense is unreal, and that's how it's been. It's been fun so far, super fun and exciting.
Coach, I go back to the preseason, and I heard so much from other coaches about Searcy and how y'all looked in team camp and 7-on-7s. How do you feel like this season's gone to your expectation?
I'm proud of the fact that we have, for the most part, even games that we were supposed to win, we played pretty well. We came out ready to play. This is, I think, our culture. As far as getting the credit goes to the kids, and as far as we just have a fun bunch of kids that they play hard every week. And it is. I mean, I don't take for granted the fact that here we are late in the season playing big games, and that's a whole lot of fun. Just to play games that matter this late in the season. And we've got a big challenge on Friday, but our kids, it's just fun to be in this type of environment and atmosphere. Our home, it'll be senior night Friday night. Our game time atmosphere in the stadium is as electric as anywhere I've been, and we're really looking forward to it. There's a lot of excitement, and I just appreciate these kids that, hey, here we are late in the year, and we're playing big games that matter. That's a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about this week, because it is also the Buzz Game of the Week. Joe T. Robinson at Searcy. Coach, just your thoughts on playing Joe T. and a meaningful game this late in the season.
They're number one in the state for a reason. They're a really good football team, and Tyler does a great job coaching. That staff did a great job with Coach Escola, and they haven't missed a beat with Coach Updergrove. We know they've got weapons everywhere. They're extremely talented. We're just, we're excited to put the ball down and see where we're at.
Will, how are you feeling about the game?
I think this game is truly a test for us, and to see how good we are. We haven't played anybody super close to what they have, and they have weapons everywhere. We have weapons everywhere. So I think it's going to be a 4-quarter game, and it's going to be a good game. But at home, that's going to help us a lot for sure.
Coach, what makes Will such a special player? And obviously had put up a great game because he's our More Sports Player of the Week. Tell me about Will.
Well, he's so versatile. He is our best receiver that we have, maybe the best that I've ever coached as far as getting off press coverage at the line of scrimmage. His feet are outstanding. He's a great route runner. And then, he catches the ball extremely well, has really improved in that aspect. He played just his maturity. He played a lot for us last year. But this year he's just, he's exploded, and just his confidence. I saw it in the summer and going through team camp and 7-on-7. He's extremely confident. He believes in himself, and he's going to get open. Give him enough time, and he's going to get open.
Will, what's the best part of your game? What makes you a good wide receiver?
I think that just route running and just the ability to get open using the speed that God's given me, that just helps. But I think route running and just catching ability is pretty good, that I'm able to play against anyone.
Will, what do you want to do with your future? What would you like to do in college?
I would love to continue playing football anywhere with the choices that I'm blessed to have. If that does not happen, I'd like to maybe be like a trainer, like to train athletes, young athletes, high school kids. It would be awesome to train football players, of course, because I know how that is. But something along sports, which would be awesome, that I would love to do.
Will, congratulations on being the Player of the Week. Thank you for coming on. Coach, thank you for joining us today and setting this up. And best of luck Friday night and the rest of the season.
Appreciate it. Yeah, thanks for having us, Wes.
Thank you.
You bet. That's Zach Clark and Will Manning at Searcy joining us tonight. It's our More Sports Player of the Week. All right, when we come back, or actually, that's going to do it. Coming up tomorrow night, we are going to have Broderick Green, former Razorback running back. He will join us. You know, Coach Petrino likes those big backs, and we see that with Braylon Russell. And I'm going to talk to Broderick Green about playing in that Bobby Petrino offense. Also coming up, Thomas Thrash will join us. We'll have our preview of some of the big games coming up on Friday night, and we'll make some picks for Friday night. So I hope you can join us. We'll be back here tomorrow night for more sports.
All Arkansas, all sports. It's more sports.